Hello and welcome to Session Zero, the first ever of It's Your Role, the improvised D&D adventure. With me, Elliot Reeves Giblin, your dungeon master.
And me, Max Dukes, who will be playing Sun Lao Hun in the show.
So, just before we do our little old soiree, our little old show at Riverside Studios on the 9th of October in London, we thought it'd be good for you guys to get to know the characters a bit. So, we'll be having a little short half an hour adventure with each of the player characters, kind of telling you what they're about, where they've been, where they're going, and what they want, really. Does that sound good to you, Max?
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Fantastic.
It's going to be great.
Fantastic. Well, without further ado, high in the cliff tops, just strafing the clouds, sits a temple, a monastery, if you will, built with silver birch trees, the bowers filled with autumnal orange leaves. People go up the mountain and come back down in order to honour the Oak King, the Oak Father, the Lord of the Woad, of the trees. This temple is inhabited purely by wood elves who tend to the trees and the grass and the nature that you find on the mountains. There is also actually one slight odd addition to this monastery. Someone who maybe you could say sticks out like a bit of a sore thumb among the wood elves. Max, can you please describe your character for us?
Yes. Now, like I said, my name is Sun Lao Hun, but you can call me Sun Lao. I was left at this monastery when I was but a little infant baby, a small orange and black tabaxi kitten, left at the foot of these great halls. Since then, I've been a pupil here, lived here, and trained with all the wood elves, though I have to be a little bit softer with them, with my ferocious cat claws. I'm a staggering 6 foot tall, which makes me a good height for a tabaxi. And again, with my beautiful orange coat, I'm more akin to a Bengal tiger.
Fantastic. And I should mention, just to give you a little taster of what these live shows will be like, we'll be taking audience suggestions and incorporating them into the adventure. We did a little Instagram call out not too long ago, asking for your D&D characters from your campaigns, old and new. And I have here a little cup that has all of these characters in. So any time that within this short adventure we come across an NPC that I'll be playing, I'll be rooting around for the character name. So we don't know what these characters are going to be called, but they will forever live on in the canon of It's Your Role. So tell me, Max, it's a lovely kind of autumnal afternoon. The leaves of the birches are kind of falling to the floor, almost like orange autumnal rain. What would Sun Lao be doing at this time of the day?
So Sun Lao be sat up on the roof of some pagoda with his legs crossed, just sat there playing his flute and just meditating on the beauty of the world around him and wondering what life is like outside of the monastery and what stories might be being told out there, things that he'll only have heard of from the scrolls of ancient travellers.
Interesting. And can you just for our listeners, how old would you say Sun Lao Hun is? That is to say, how long has he been at this monastery?
He's been there for 27 years.
Okay.
So, he's at a ripe old age now where, he's trained his kung fu to a point, but he's never been able to practically use it except for the other monks that trained around him.
Fantastic. Well, as you're here, sat the kind of playing your instrument, a lovely westerly breeze coming across the top of the pagoda, can you make me a perception check, please? You need to be a 10.
I can indeed. That's going to be... Oh, yes, that definitely beats a 10. That's a 17.
Fantastic. Well, apart from the sound of the music that you're playing, it's pretty quiet up there. So along the kind of the stone floors that lead up to this pagoda, you hear a tick, tick, tick. That sounds like the familiar sound of a certain person's footsteps.
Oh, I'll jump down with a little backflip off of the pagoda to land, sort of like hero landing, 3-point landing.
Unbelievable.
I'll put my flute away, and I'll walk down to meet this person.
Fantastic. Well, as you do all of that, you very quickly bump into our first NPC, who is named Triskeitha Romeo.
Triskeitha
Romeo. She's an older wood elf with her hair tied back into quite a severe ponytail that is kept in place with a little wooden branch. A lot of wood elves, they keep their youth for years, as they are wont to live for hundreds of years. Triskeitha is quite obviously one of the older wood elves in the monastery, considering that even for her youthful appearance, she has some wrinkles just to the side of her eyes, that's kind of just making those lovely blue and silvery eyes that she has. It just betrays the fact that she's seen some things. San Lao. So you're playing your instrument again?
Yes, I've been pondering about the world beyond.
I see. You should really get your head out of the clouds. Although here at the monastery we do encourage the esoteric arts of music playing and meditation, cleansing one's soul through those activities. And she kind of from behind her brings a big bucket filled with hot soapy water. We also encourage the cleaning of the temple floors as well.
Ah, yes, I thought there was probably something I was supposed to be doing.
We can't have you shirking your duties now.
No, I'm sorry, Master Romeo.
And I'll take up the bucket and sort of like gingerly start making my way towards the temple to go do my chores.
Just before you leave, can you give me an insight check?
Can indeed. Excellent. Oh, that is a non-natural 20.
Great, okay. For the last couple of years, since you've, maybe the last 6 years, you've noticed that Triskeitha treats you quite harshly compared to the other wood elf initiates at the monastery. In fact, now and again, she seems to have quite a lot of disdain for you. But when you're in a one-on-one situation like you just were, you can actually tell through your insight she's quite fond of you. And she does that classic thing of pushing you because she knows you can kind of take it and do more. So that's just a little thing you notice through that interaction, that, actually, she treats me quite badly, but that's because she knows that actually she just wants the best for me.
As I'm walking away, I'll just sort of like turn around and give her like a very warm smile and a deep bow. I'll carry on.
She rolls her eyes and says, "Go on now."
Yes, I'm going.
All right, so you head into kind of the main area of the monastery. It's a lovely kind of orange and brown space, like I said, with these silver birches that rise up to the ceiling, kind of covering it with little shafts of sunlight coming through now and again. At the end of the temple space, there is an enormous oak tree. To give you an example of its size, it'd probably take 4 fully grown humans hugging it in order to reach the entirety of around it. And this is kind of the main prayer and offering space in the monastery. There are a couple of little, not too ornate offering boxes where pilgrims come up the mountain and leave. It's not often money, but scrolls of prayer or little trinkets or stones that they've found. And you find yourself on your hands and knees, really working your way into the, thinking, gosh, a lot of dirt gets in between these tree roots. At that point, a couple more people approach you. Well, if it isn't San Lao. How are you doing, kitty cat? And you look up and it is 3 of your fellow initiates, wood elves. The ringleader in the middle seems quite young even for a wood elf. Lovely golden skin, silver hair, tied back. The only real awkward thing about him is that he has an ugly little pig nose that kind of rises up to show right up into his nostrils. And his name is Zubo.
Zubo. Is Zubo taller than me, shorter than me? In terms
Zubo is probably about 5'6", so quite a bit shorter than you, which probably explains that kind of animosity.
I'll stand up to my full height and really proper, shoulders back, head up, full 6 foot. So look down and go,
Come to work, have you, Piglet?
Who do you think you're calling Piglet? And he's kind of looking at his two, his Crab and Goyle henchmen, being like, who's he calling Piglet? Listen, at least I'm actually human and not some tabax fee, whatever you call yourself.
I'll just snarl at him.
Can you give me an intimidation check, please?
I can. That's a 3. I was doing so well.
So probably when you first came to the monastery and were kind of old enough to play with the other initiates, that probably would have had a lot of traction, the growling. But now that you've been here for how many years, they're kind of used to it. Oh, give us a new one, Sonny Jim. The growling doesn't scare anyone, And he kind of kicks over your bucket and kind of muddy, soapy water goes all over the tiles.
Clean it up.
Oh, you want me to clean it up, do you? I don't think I'll do that. We've actually got scroll reading class, so us three will be off and we'll leave you to clean up our mess, shall we, kitty cat? And they kind of turn around on their heels, and the two henchmen kind of go, oh, that was a good one, wasn't it? You killed him a kitty cat.
I'll walk over to the other end of the temple and I'll get a mop and I'll start to mop it. I'll try to mop up all that muddy water back into the bucket.
Fantastic.
It's
Great
my
stuff.
Big bastard looking.
You do this for about 2 hours. The sun's gone down now. When the sun goes down at the monastery, fireflies come out. There's no sconces or torches around. It's just these fireflies that kind of gather in almost orbs in very useful places around the monastery that lights the way. It also signals that it's time for bed.
I'll finish up my work and I'll put everything away. And am I alone in the main sort of prayer room?
Yeah, it's just you now. Yeah.
I'll take a deep bow towards the main oak tree, and as I'm walking out, I'll go up to one of the orbs, and I'll just try and catch one of the fireflies on the end of one of the fingers on my paw.
Nice. Give me an animal handling check. For a lovely moment, you only need to be a 6.
Excellent. That is a 7.
Oh, that was a close one. You kind of put a big furry orange and black finger out, and just one of the fireflies just lands on you. And whereas when they're flying, they're quite erratic, it just lands and is incredibly still on your finger.
I'll just sort of sit there for a minute, sort of enjoying the glow, and then I'll flick him off and let him go back about his business.
He goes back.
And I'll start making my way back towards the dorm room.
Yeah. By the time you get back to the dorm room, Zubo and all the other Wood Elf initiates are already sleeping, snoring so loud. They've kind of ushered all of the fireflies that are in their room out, so it's completely dark in there. Do you have dark vision?
I do.
Fantastic. So
it's not a problem for me.
So you kind of just see in this black and white kind of night vision, considering your kind of ostracization from the other initiates. You've got kind of the worst bunk at the back, the bottom rung, you've got the hardest pillow. So what? Yeah, you're heading straight into bed.
Yeah, I'll sort of go to lie down in my bed, and obviously I'm much too big for it, and I'll shuffle my way in, sort of underneath, and I'll do that slightly sort of cat thing. There's not enough space for me to get comfortable. I'm just sort of clawing at it with my claws and trying to get round into a little circle to make myself fit, and nesting in.
Nice. I love it. I love it. You fall into a light sleep quite easily. You know, the manual labour you've been doing today has tired you out quite a bit. What does Sunlow dream about?
When Sunlow dreams, he closes his eyes and he thinks about travelling off into and through the mountains and finding a village filled with sort of tabaxi like him.
Nice.
And becoming a sort of folk hero, going and saving them from some sort of horde, or sometimes it's a monster, and just being there with his own kind and being appreciated, and Master Romeo being there, just sort of like looking on approvingly, knowing that
like
he's
just
done
in
well.
the distance, just like you did well.
Like Obi-Wan, just like blue, so you're like smiling and
Yeah.
just nodding gently.
And then you've got Triska's like master and the master before her, so you've got like 3 ghost masters. Like, yes, this is a good line of
and for some
monks.
reason, one of them is
Yeah.
Hayden Christensen.
And I'm Hayden Christensen. Great. Well, you're having a lovely dream. Can you give me a perception check, please?
I can indeed.
And I'm going to say you can have advantage, considering that your hearing is a lot better than the hearing of a regular human.
Using my cat-like senses.
Yeah.
Oh, good, because that is a 13.
You're kind of stirred awake by the kind of an oaken door shutting. It's not the door to the dormitory, but it's possibly the next one along in the hallway. Your ears prick up. Everyone else is still snoring and asleep.
Is there a window somewhere in this dormitory that I can look out to where the noise was coming from?
So the window actually looks out almost like out of the monastery, so kind
Okay.
of to the rest of the mountains and the cliff face.
Now I'm going to try and sneak down and along the floor and trying to make as little noise as possible and look under the crack of the door.
Yeah.
See what I can see.
Can you give me a stealth check, please?
I can. Oh, I can if I don't drop my dice. Oh, that's a nat 1.
So you're kind of still half in the dream, being like, my God, Triska loved me so much in that dream. You actually like fall off the bed with a
Oh, goodness.
and Zubo wakes up, but just enough to go, Sunlow, shut up. You kind of crawl over to the door and try and peek your tabaxi eye underneath it, but you really can't see too much.
I'll sneak out the door.
Okay.
I'll go find out what's going on.
Okay, you head out into the hallway. Give me another stealth check.
Hey, that's a lot better. That is a 16.
Fantastic. So as soon as you get out into the hallway, you've kind of woken up. The little orbs of fireflies have kind of, your eyes have adjusted now, and just as you kind of look to the left of the hallway, you don't see a person, but you see like the remnants of a shadow just turning round towards that main temple space where the oak tree is.
And I don't recognise who the person is.
Well, all you see is a shadow.
Okay. I'll stop following behind as quietly as I can.
Okay.
Just curious.
All right, you kind of, are you doing the thing of every time you get to a corner, you kind of hold at the corner until? Oh,
Yeah. Keeping an appropriate distance. Trying to close the distance a little bit, see if I can make out who it is, but not so much that they would notice me.
Okay.
And I imagine I probably need to keep a greater distance,
Yeah,
knowing
yeah.
their monastic training.
So every time you get to a corner, you just miss the person. Now and again, you see a heel, maybe the remnants of a hand, but mostly it's just that shadow on the wall, just turning left and right. You can tell it's almost like instinctively, you know they're heading towards the main temple space.
Okay.
After about 5 minutes, you've kind of followed them long enough, and you are now in the main temple space, or almost just outside of it, kind of poking your head round, looking in. Can you give me a perception check, please?
I can indeed. That's a 15.
Okay, cool. Are you heading into the space? You currently can't see anyone in here, but you know that there's no other place that this person could have gone.
Yeah, I'll head in and I'll try and keep to sort of knowing where the moon comes in. I'll try and keep to the shadowy side.
All right, cool. You head in. The space is kind of lit once again by these fireflies and shafts of moonlight coming through the bowers. It all seems really quiet in there. Yeah, it just seems really quiet just until you feel something press into your side. What is your armor class?
My armor class is 15.
Okay. That hits. You feel kind of a short knife just get into between your ribs. And you take 4 points of piercing damage.
Bloody hell. I've just woken up.
So you just feel this shaft of cold in between your shoulder blades, and it pulls out. And you turn around, and there's this figure just slightly shorter than you, maybe about 5'5", with the dagger in hand, hood up, kind of bandana covering from their eyes and below. Roll for initiative.
Oh, excellent. Okay, it's a 13.
All right, 13. And he rolled 17.
Shit.
So this guy's gonna go first, and kind of with the knife, he's not saying anything, but his eyes are looking ever so slightly like this wasn't part of the plan.
I'm just snarling it. I'm like really ready to mess him up.
All right. So he's going to attack again with his dagger. That is a 8 to hit.
Does not hit.
All right. He kind of comes for you, and using your monastic training, yeah, you just kind of deflect the blade out to the left of you. And with that, he's going to use his cunning action to take the disengage and move his full 30 feet away from you. So he kind of goes and kind of just runs backwards. So he's still in the main temple space, but 30 feet away from you. What would you like to do?
Oh, brilliant. Well, I'm going to chase him down. Before I leave, I'll look around the temple. Is there any sort of mop that I could use as a quarterstaff, or any sort of anything around that I might be able to use?
As a bonus action, you can pick up the mop that you left in the earlier in the day. Yes.
I'll take the mop.
So you've got a mop.
I'll ring it behind my back, and then luckily because I have 40 feet of movement, I'll then chase him down to come up, and I'll slide in underneath him, and I'm going to try and hit him in the face with the butt of the mop.
Unreal. Go for it.
Let's make an attack. And I'm using this as a quarterstaff?
Yes, as a quarterstaff.
Sweet. Oh, yes. That is a 24.
Yeah, that hits. That hits.
Excellent. So I'm going to bring it up, and again, I pop up, and I just right in the nose.
Amazing.
That's going to be a 6.
Cool. So you take 6 points of damage. Kind of the remnants of soapy water flies everywhere just as you get him. Great. It is his turn now. His head comes back from reeling backwards, and he's gonna just try and slice at you twice with his dagger. That is a 14 to hit.
That does not
misses.
hit.
All right, he's going to give it another go. That is a 4. So he's kind of like, he's got a bit of soap in his eye, and he's just like, just like.
I take the mop. I'm like running it round his arm so the dagger misses out of the way.
Amazing. Go for it. Your turn.
And yeah, I'm going to use my bonus action first, and to make an attack.
Yep.
Which is a 12.
That misses.
Damn. So I sort of go for his legs, and as he goes underneath, I'll make my attack and try and strike ahead, but this time with the mop end, so he gets all the wet water on him. Oh, that's better. So that is a 17.
Yeah, that hits.
Brilliant. So again, swinging back round with the mop end of the mop. And that's 5 bludgeoning.
All right, great stuff. Yeah, his hood that he's got is like there are bits of it that's turned the darker shade of blue because it's just sopping wet.
And I just, I just like, go past him. I like mop his face up a little bit.
You hear him go like, "Oh bloody hell, what's going on?" His turn now, and it's the same again. He's just gonna come at you with his dagger. Oh, that was on a 20 and it turned into a 5. So that one misses.
Excellent.
And that is a 17 to hit.
Oh yeah, that hits.
All right, so that's 3 points of damage. The first one misses. You're kind of doing the thing with the quarterstaff where you're kind of constantly keeping the blade away from you.
Yeah.
But he just manages to do that thing where he drops the blade into his other hand and it just like stabs you just in kind of like left of the groin area. Great, your turn again.
I'll sort of go underneath as I'm there taking, like, looking at my sort of cut leg. I'll drop down to the ground and I'll try and roundhouse kick his legs out from under him.
All right.
Again, use my bonus action, and if I hit, then I'll drop a key point. Oh, yes. That's a 24.
Yeah, that hits.
So again, spin round underneath as I roundhouse kick. I'll take out his legs, and I'm going to drop a key point to knock him prone.
Okay, what does he have to do?
He's got to make a dex saving throw or a strength saving throw, up to you.
Okay, I'm going to go for dex because his dex is better. What does he have to beat?
He's got to beat 15.
Okay, right. That is a 19.
Damn.
So you just kind of try and go for one of his legs, but he hasn't skipped leg there, and he's kind of, his leg meets yours, and it just like hits.
I sort of look up at him, sort of recognizing he's quite a strong and dexterous person, and then I'll come back up, try and strike him again with the butt end of the mop.
Go for it.
I still need to roll the damage.
Oh yeah, damage for the last one.
Oh, excellent. So that's going to be... I sort of like catch him with the feet claw so I can use my claws for my unarmed. So that's going to be 11 points of damage.
Okay.
Just a slash across his ankle, though it doesn't bring him down.
No, it doesn't bring him down, but like he kind of doubles back and winces in pain. Oh.
And then I'll come back again, with that strike.
All right.
That's not too bad. That's a 17.
That hits.
Excellent. And again, sort of up. Oh, that's not as good. That's 4 points as I just sort of like catch his chin as I come back up to standing and strike him underneath and just catch him.
Well, he's looking really hurt, so Sun Lao Hun, I'm going to ask you, finish him. Finish him.
Realizing that he's sort of not going to go down like from his leg, what I'll do, I don't want to kill him. So I just want to...
You want to do like a non-lethal attack?
Yeah, non-lethal attack. So what I'll do, I'll sort of spring the knife down, swing the knife off to try and make it fly into like a tree, like in an old kung fu movie.
Nice.
And with the mop, I'll catch him under the arm, come round behind, so we're back to back, and I've got both of his arms locked into the mop in my back,
cool.
And like flip him over like a suplex and just smash him into the ground like a Arkham Knight finishing move.
Amazing, you do that.
Just dust flies up.
Yeah, dust and the fireflies are just going crazy. You've made a lot of noise. He's unconscious, not for too long, he is out.
I'll put my knee on him and I'll put the mop over his arm to keep him down.
At that point, Trisketha comes in like her nightgown, her kind of hair undone. She's obviously been awoken by what's going on. What is going on in here? Sun Lao, explain yourself. And she kind of sees this masked assailant on the floor with the mop and is just like, what the hell has been going on in here?
I heard someone sneaking around and then this thing attacked me. I think it's time we found out who this person really is.
And like Scooby-Doo style, I'll pull the hood from under him.
Oh
man, Jake!
You pull the hood off, and it's like a 17-year-old human.
Oh.
Kind of like very short, cropped hair, like pox-marked cheeks, kind of coming to at this point. And as soon as like their eyes come into focus, they look terrified. Triskeetha kind of walks over to you both. "A new boy, what is your name?" Kind of looking really scared, and he says, "The name's Golabrimbo.
Golabrimbo.
Golabrimbo. I'm from the hamlet down the way.
Why are you here? Why did you attack me?
I'm sorry, Mr. Monk and Mrs. Monk." "The name's Triskeetha. I'm the overseer of this monastery." Oh, yeah, of course. And he kind of gives a low bow. He obviously doesn't really know the customs, but is like,
I'll let him up to like
Monk's equal bow. I'm sorry. I came in here because my mum's not very well. To be honest with you, the entire hamlet's got the sleeping sickness.
Sleeping sickness? What is the sleeping sickness?
It's something that's been going about. It's not super dangerous. It's just people fall asleep for a number of days, and I've just thought I'd take it upon myself to come up to monastery and have a look about to see if we've got any potions or anything that could help. Triskeetha kind of looks at you and says, "Sanlau, did you ever think about asking this boy what he was doing here before you absolutely decimated him?"
He did stab me in the back.
Sometimes we have to be better than them. You understand?
I do. I'm sorry, Master.
and then I like mopped aside.
Yeah.
Bow deeply.
She puts her hand onto the side of your leg where you were possibly most grievously injured in the fight, and the smell of honeysuckle and green tea kind of emanates through the air as she just heals you, and you regain 3 points of health.
Oh, fantastic.
And she looks to Golabrimbo and just says, "I'm afraid the peasants in the hamlet have often misunderstood what we at the Temple of the Oak Father do. We don't have any magical potions or magical items, so to speak. However, I will accompany you back down the mountain in order to see if there is anything we can do to help your people." Oh my God! And he kind of keeps bowing. "Oh, that'd be great, Your Highness." "Not Highness, no, just Triskeetha. And as for you, Sanlauhan," and she kind of softens her look.
I'm still sort of like bowing very
Yeah,
deep while
yeah.
I poke my head up and then put it back down.
Yeah. "As for you, Sanlauhan, the most important lesson for you to realize, for as long as you've been here, ever since you were a cub, and I looked after you like a son, if you'll pardon the pun, was that the best way to serve people is to engage with them, to be a part of them. That's what Zubo and all these knuckleheads in the monastery can never understand, and that is why they will stay here forever.
I look up and look over to them.
And that's why," and she puts a hand on your shoulder, "and that's why it's time for you to leave."
To leave.
She kind of tightens her grip, but not in like a controlling way, more like in a, "You got this. Ever since you came here, I knew there was something special about you. It's time for you to leave this mountain, this monastery, and start helping people in the real world. People like Golabrimbo, and dare I say it, people like Zubo. Can you do that for me?"
I will, my master.
And she gives you a low bow.
As she comes back up, I just sort of like wrap my hands around her and give her like a big hug.
Golabrimbo at this point is just like, "Oh, I've obviously... Oh, okay, so much... We've been building up to this for a while, haven't we?"
Let us have our moment.
Sorry.
I'll unwrap my arms and... what sort of time is it? Is it like starting to crest at early morning? or-
Yeah, so the first light of the sun is kind of cresting up the side of the mountains. A shaft of light hits your face and kind of lightly blinds you until your eyes come into focus, and you realise that that's where you need to be.
I will go through the mountains. I will find my way. And once I have helped all I can, I will return and tell you my story.
There's not many things for you to collect. As a monk, you live quite a sparse and Spartan life.
I'd like to, if I may, the mop that I took with me.
Yeah.
I'll collect up my things, and a couple of take a couple of darts and stuff for the road, like things I trained with. But instead of like taking one of the a quarterstaff or any other sort of weapon with me, I'd like to spend some time before I leave, and I'll take the mop handle and I'll wrap it with some cloth from my monk robe, and take off the end that's got the mop on it.
Yeah, you don't want to leave that on.
And I'm gonna sort of fashion it into sort of my quarterstaff, sort of remind me of the lesson I learned while fighting with it.
Amazing. Triskeitha, Zubo, and Golobrimbor all meet you by the main gate of the monastery. Triskeitha and Golobrimbor are kind of deep in conversation, talking about, okay, what do we need to get prepped to go back down the hill to deal with the sleeping sickness, and it's time for you to depart. The gates open wide.
I've got a little gourd wrapped around with some water and a little bindle tied to the back of my new quarterstaff, and I'm sort of going for a sort of top half ripped vibe.
Oh yeah.
From my regular monk robes to something a little bit more stylized.
Yeah.
And got my monk beads on and sort of ready to sort of go out into the world. And I'll ask before, is there anything I can help with the sleeping sickness or?
Just give the kind of, no, I think we have this one covered. We'll send as much help as we can. In fact, I was thinking, Zubo, maybe you could head down and dig some latrines. Oh, come on, I don't want to be doing that. Just do it. And with that, you head down the mountain to begin your next adventure.
I'm walking down the long row of steps down.
Yeah.
And as I reach the sort of very end, I think about having run water up and down them in Kill Bill, and all the training, all the time I've had there, and sort of look out, and then look out into the sunrise over the mountains, and just start walking towards it.
And we'll leave it there. So that is kind of the origin story of Sun Lao Hun. And you can see Max, myself, and Sun Lao Hun in an even longer, more improvised adventure at Riverside Studios in London on the 9th of October.
Yeah, we'd love to see you there.
Yeah, we've got some tickets left. We'll have more of these adventures to come, I'm sure. But for now, come buy some tickets. Give us some funny names. And who knows, maybe next time it might be your role.
Excellent. Thank you, Elliot. Thank you very much.
No worries.
See you soon.